Universal Islands of Adventure, arguably Universal's most complete park, packed with intense coasters, cinematic worlds, and water rides that will drown your dignity. From slipping past jungle watchtowers in Jurassic Park to tearing through the forbidden forest on Hagrid's bike, there's a spectacle on every corner. Even if the biggest update this year is little more than a mysterious construction permit, it's a park I wouldn't dream of skipping. Hi, I'm the Frugal Brit, and in this video I'll take you on an updated land-by-land tour of Islands of Adventure for 2026. Without further ado, let's dive in. The adventure begins beneath the Pharos Lighthouse, the park's main icon which rises above its surroundings and signals your arrival into the Port of Entry land. Port of Entry sets the stage with architecture that feels connected from distant corners of the world, creating a space that feels lived in and shaped by travellers who came before you. As you move under the final bridge and toward the central lagoon, the space opens up, quietly hinting at the scale of the adventures waiting just beyond the water. Across 8 different themed islands which we'll be exploring, we're going to head west to start our attraction tour on Marvel Superhero Island, which takes you into Stan Lee Boulevard, embracing the energy of that classic comic book style, surrounding you with bold outlines, oversized character art, exaggerated angles and proportions. Across the land you'll spot Marvel heroes and villains moving through the streets, some pausing for photos, others roaming on their own, and sometimes groups sweeping past when called into action. Our first attraction is guaranteed to be one you'll hear before you see. The ground rumbles with the roar of launching trains. This is of course the incredible Hulk coaster, marked by a towering Hulk figure clenched around a piece of coaster track. Inside, the queue pulls you into General Ross's Gamma Lab, with guests volunteering for a high-risk Hulkification experiment. Once you're strapped into the train, the experiment initiates instantly. Alarms flare, lights surge, then you're fired from 0 to full speed in seconds, erupting out of the launch tube into a gravity roll overhead before plunging 105 feet toward the ground. The coaster then accelerates to its top speed of 67 miles per hour as it hurtles into a dramatic cobra roll over the lagoon. From there, you'll be thrown into a vertical loop over the bridge from Port of Entry and into a mist-filled subterranean tunnel before the train encircles the station, diving into a tight corkscrew, immediately followed by another vertical loop, this one wrapping around the mid-course brake run. The ride continues through the park, with more spirals and sharp turns to follow before completing the incredibly intense lap. Just a few steps from Hulk, you'll find the Storm Force Accelatron, a classic spinning attraction wrapped in Marvel theming, where the faster you spin, the more energy you generate to combat Magneto. Further along Stan Lee Boulevard, you can slip onto Yancey Street, a small but storied corner of Marvel lore, claimed by Doctor Doom, who can often be found confronting guests. Rising just beyond the rooftops is Doctor Doom's Fearfall, a pair of menacing launch columns that carve upward into the sky, drawing the eye from almost anywhere around Universal Orlando. Inside, you'll queue through the Latvian Embassy, past ever-watchful Doom bots. Once secured in your seat, there's a tense pause before Doom triggers an explosive launch that fires you skyward in an instant, giving you a brief moment to take in the view before gravity takes over. The downward drop snaps you downward with real force, followed by a series of smaller rebounds as the tower slowly releases its grip. Stepping off Yancey Street, you'll come to the amazing adventures of Spiderman, a high-energy 3D motion simulator dark ride. The queue leads you through the offices of the Daily Bugle, past abandoned gear and frantic news reports that set up the story that a team of supervillains have launched an attack on the city. After picking up your 3D goggles, you'll board the Scoop Ride vehicle. Spider-Man drops onto the hood with a warning, and you're immediately pulled into back alleys and warehouses where the sinister syndicate ambushes your vehicle. From there, you're thrown into a rapid series of encounters with various 4D effects. The ride peaks with a steep, simulated freefall as the city rushes up beneath you before Spidey snaps you to safety, then swinging back towards street level after the battle subsides. North of Marvel Superhero Island, you'll step onto Toon Lagoon, a land that shifts from comic book action to full cartoon slapstick. Everything's styled like a living newspaper comic strip, oversized props, colourful facades, splash zones, fountains, and other nautical elements enhancing the fun atmosphere. Near the top of the land, there's the entrance to Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls flume ride. As you weave through the queue, you'll pass a string of props setting up the playful rivalry between Dudley and his villainous foe. Once aboard your single-file log, you drift into the first indoor forest scene before the story escalates, with Dudley's well-intentioned but bumbling attempt to save the day unfolding across a series of light-hearted vignettes that keep the humour ticking along, with a run of small to medium drops that gradually build momentum. Further in, the tension rises as you begin the long climb up the main lift hill through splashes of water. At the crest, you'll enter a cartoon armoury, followed by a dynamite shack that erupts with a bang, sending your log plunging into the big 75-foot final drop, whipping you down in a burst of speed, where you can crash into a sprawling splash pool that soaks riders and delights the crowd gathered on the bridge, including those firing water cannons. As the mayhem subsides, your log drifts back toward the station, where Dudley and his trusty horse are cheered on for their accidental heroics. Just past the Popeye statue along the eastbound bridge, you'll find Popeye and Bluto's Bilge Barges circular raft ride, widely known for delivering the absolute drenching it promises. You'll queue over the water headed for Popeye's Paradise Cruise, but a last-minute detour reroutes you into Bluto's ramshackle barge operation, filled with exaggerated nautical props and comic-style details. Once aboard the 12-person rafts, the adventure kicks off with a small drop that sends you drifting beneath the two bridges, offering a light but deliberate splash to preview the chaos. Soon you're floating down the Hurricane River, its turbulent water pushing between canyon-like walls. The action escalates quickly as your raft approaches a shipwrecked boat, where a towering funnel unleashes a relentless cascade of water onto riders, creating one of the most intense soak moments on any Orlando attraction. Your journey pushes on past a battered ship showing signs of hull damage. Up above, onlookers armed with water cannons gleefully take aim. From there, you approach an industrial-style water pump blasting riders head-on, before drifting into a dimly lit cave where a massive octopus clutches Popeye in its tentacles. Emerging from the cave, the raft ascends a conveyor belt into the boat washing machine, a relentless whirlwind of spraying water that leaves no seat safe. Towards the end, you'll spot spinach-powered Popeye gearing up for his showdown with Bluto, and from there, you drift back toward the rotating platform, thoroughly soaked but hopefully entertained. Just beside the barges, perched along the lagoon's edge, sits Me Ship the Olive, a multi-deck playground woven straight out of Popeye's cartoon world spread across 3 levels, containing slides, climbing nets, and nautical details that let kids explore. You've got the bank of water cannons spraying the rafts of Bilge barges, all this while offering elevated views across the lagoon. North of Toon Lagoon, the pathway rises into the shadows of Skull Island. Here, the environment tightens into craggy rockwork and looming temple ruins, hinting at an unmapped jungle world steeped in danger and ancient myth. Stepping beneath the jagged stone archway formed by Kong's towering skull, the atmosphere shifts into a moody run of ruins, skull-lined caverns with eerie chants. At the loading station, you'll board massive open-sided trucks. The journey starts with a cavern system where creatures stir in the shadows. The route soon opens into chaos as prehistoric predators close in, driving the truck towards a battle where Kong clashes with dinosaurs, notably a T-Rex who ends up fairly outmatched. The journey settles with a close encounter at the finale, where the immense Kong animatronic passes beside the vehicle, his sheer size and presence bringing the chaos to a dramatic close. Now on the opposite side of the Islands of Adventure Lagoon, the map brings us into the bright storybook world of Seuss Landing, designed to feel like you've stepped straight into the pages of a Dr. Seuss book, with curved pathways, everything avoiding straight lines, giving the whole area a playful hand-drawn feel. Here you'll find Circus McGurk's Cafe Stupendous, where your meal plays out under a giant circus tent ceiling filled with Seussian performers. You'll also spot Seuss characters singing and dancing in their little storytime shows, with meet and greet moments right after for photos. If I Ran the Zoo offers a small, imaginative corner of Seuss Landing where kids can climb, crawl, and explore as they discover imaginative creatures. Stepping further in, you'll spot the giant striped hat facade that marks the Cat in the Hat, a gentle dark ride that takes you into the heart of the cat's chaos. Once you board the bright couch-style ride vehicles, you'll roll into the kids' rainy day home as the cat bursts in and turns everything upside down. The story unfolds scene by scene, animatronics and narration guiding you through the cat's clumsy balancing act and wild antics of Thing 1 and Thing 2. As the mayhem reaches its tipping point, the cat returns with his oversized cleaning machine to set things right again. On the other side, you'll come across Caro-Seuss-El, a colourful, gently spinning carousel filled with Seussian creatures who wiggle and blink as you ride. On the other side of the avenue is the one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish spinner ride. Here you'll board your own colourful fish and glide in a slow circle, moving up and down as a playful rhyme cues you to dodge or embrace the squirts of water that sprays around the ride. Sitting just above the rooftops is Seuss Landing's headliner, the high-in-the-sky Seuss Trolley train ride. When it's time to board your trolley, you'll glide out over the curved pathways of Seuss Landing, rising onto the colourful skyline as the story unfolds, winding through gentle turns, with one of the two tracks slipping into the ceiling of the Circus McGurk's Cafe Stupendous, giving a quick peek down at the restaurant's lively circus floor. From there, it coasts back outside past the bright facades, with little story moments tucked along the route. After one last smooth bend along the lagoon side walkways, the trolley eases back into the station to wrap up the tour. Just north of Seuss Landing, the path leads into the Lost Continent, a land still standing, but very much in a state of uncertainty as the park prepares for whatever comes next. Once one of Islands of Adventure's most elaborately themed areas, mixing ancient marketplaces and crumbling mythic temples, even with its reduced size since the Wizarding World expansion, it still carries a distinct atmosphere. At its centre sits the Mystic Fountain, always ready with a riddle or a sarcastic remark. Just beyond this mythos, the land's cavern-like restaurant sculpted with flowing rockwork and waterfalls, often regarded as one of the best theme park restaurants around. Inside, the grotto setting and ambitious menu make it a popular spot. A little further in are the towering ruins of Poseidon's Fury, once a walk-through special effects adventure through an ancient temple. The attraction officially closed in 2023, leaving its imposing facade intact, but its chambers sealed. Its closure marked the end of the Lost Continent's major experiences, and since then has been subject to lots of speculation. Permits for demolition have been filed, with fans speculating a full retheme, ideas ranging from a Legend of Zelda land. Nothing confirmed as of yet, but it's clear this area is still waiting for its next chapter. Just across the lagoon on the west side of the park, we'll head to the dense jungles of the famous Jurassic Park island. Passing through the iconic tower, the foliage thickens. John Williams' sweeping score quietly swells beneath the sounds of distant creatures. You'll spot those familiar park jeeps dotted around the land, and lifelike dinosaur models providing great photo ops. Sitting along the waterfront facing the entrance is Jurassic Park Discovery Centre, resembling the Welcome Centre from the original movie. When entering from the other side, you're met with a full-scale skeletal display at the heart of the rotunda. Downstairs, there's a mix of hands-on exhibits, DNA-matching consoles and interactive stations to explore the park's science. Every so often, the lab comes alive for a baby dinosaur hatching. Tucked deeper into the island is Camp Jurassic, a sort of mini-land within Jurassic Park designed especially for little explorers, an overgrown research outpost that's been slowly reclaimed by the jungle. Here, kids can lose themselves in a network of rope bridges, climbing nets, several slides, echoing caves and mist-filled amber mines. All woven through dense vegetation and rocky hideaways, it's one of the most elaborately themed and richly landscaped children's areas you'll find in any theme park. Within Camp Jurassic is Pteranodon Flyers, a gentle, slow-soaring glider ride, one that only allows a pairing of one adult and one child to board. After you're strapped in, you'll rise up to about 60 feet above Camp Jurassic, feet dangling as you glide over the treetops. The ride carries you past glimpses of Skull Island, weaving through the park's thick canopy and thatched rooftops, before gently touching down to complete your lap in roughly 1 minute and 20 seconds. Next, we'll make our way to Jurassic Park River Adventure, currently closed for refurbishment. Its queue gently draws you into the world of the original film, easing you toward the adventure ahead. Soon you'll board your yellow tour boat and set off on a deceptively peaceful cruise through tropical waterways. Before long, the boat approaches the massive wooden gates, framed by towering stone columns, which slowly open to reveal the Ultrasaur Lagoon, where a giant Ultrasaur rises above the water, calmly observing your arrival. The journey continues into Stegosaur Springs, where a family of Stegosauruses can be seen grazing peacefully, but the calm is short-lived. Your raft is abruptly knocked off course toward the Raptor Containment Area, an off-limits zone where carnivorous dinosaurs have broken free. Riders are led into a tense climb toward the water treatment plant, with flashing lights, broken equipment, and the echoing roars building a steady sense of danger. Around the bend, a massive T-Rex lunges toward the raft, its jaws just feet away from riders. The raft then plunges down an 85-foot drop, a sudden freefall that erupts into a towering wall of white spray, soaking the surrounding cliffs and misting onlookers brave enough to linger in the soak zone. The raft then curves back to the loading area, with riders comparing who ended up the most soaked by the finale. As mentioned, currently closed for refurbishment, unfortunately not expected to reopen until November. Further up in Jurassic Park is the Raptor Encounter live character meet and greet. Here, trained handlers introduce you to Blue from Jurassic World, filled with jump scares. He also rotates with a baby raptor companion, allowing for a less intense interaction. Next door to the Discovery Centre is Florida's tallest and fastest launch coaster, Jurassic World VelociCoaster. Since its debut in 2021, it's shared top billing as the park's premier headliner. Guests enter a high-tech raptor paddock glowing with neon lighting, set just before the events of the original Jurassic World movie. Deeper inside, windows overlook the track where raptors appear to chase each passing train, and further along, you'll encounter impressively lifelike muzzled animatronic raptors moving restlessly in their containment cages. In the final pre-show, Claire Deering enthusiastically promotes the new attraction, while Owen voices doubts on the safety. Once you're boarded and strapped in, you'll glide into the first launch. As the countdown hits 0, you're catapulted from 0 to 50 miles per hour in just 2 seconds, flipping into the first inversion and weaving through the Raptor's paddock rockwork and dense foliage. After a rapid sequence of twists and turns, a second launch fires you to 70 miles per hour in about 2.5 seconds. Bursting out of the tunnel, the train climbs the sheer 155-foot top hat, VelociCoaster's iconic silhouette, before dropping at an 80-degree angle and snapping left into a 100-foot zero-G stall. From there, you twist and dive through huge overbank turns and airtime hills before reaching the ride's grand finale, the Mosasaurus roll. A high-speed heartline roll over the lagoon water, the coaster's second signature moment. Visible from where we started in port of entry, a final off-axis airtime hill completes the circuit before the train glides onto the brake run. Over on the northeast corner of the park, it's time to explore the Hogsmeade Island, a fully realised corner of the map devoted to the wizarding world of Harry Potter. Whether entering from the eastern or the western archway, you're immediately immersed in snow-dusted rooftops, crooked chimneys, and narrow cobblestone streets capturing the essence of Britain's only all-wizarding village. Along these streets, shops like Honeydukes invite you to explore their array of magical sweets, while Dervis and Barges brims with wizarding equipment, like the interactive wands which activate charming spell spots throughout the village. When it's time to refuel, the Three Broomsticks pub serves up traditional British fare in a cosy rustic setting, where you can settle in with a frothy butterbeer beneath timbered rafters or outside underneath the imposing centrepiece of Hogsmeade. Which brings us to Hogwarts itself, rising above the village with sweeping towers and intricate stonework that feels steeped in centuries of history, a faithful recreation of the legendary school. Visible from across the park and the wider Universal Orlando Resort, anchoring the entire land with a sense of grandeur. Beyond the striking exterior, the castle serves as the gateway to one of the park's most ambitious attractions, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Stepping inside, the queue unfolds as an immersive walkthrough of Hogwarts' most iconic spaces. You'll pass through the greenhouses, alive with familiar magical plants, move into the Defence Against the Dark Arts classroom, with appearances from some well-known students, and eventually enter Dumbledore's office, surrounded by shelves of ancient instruments. Throughout the castle, enchanted portraits murmur among themselves, their animated debates echoing down stone corridors as you make your way toward the boarding area. Closer to the end of the queue, the Sorting Hat offers a few final remarks before you're ushered toward the loading platform. Guests then take their seat on enchanted benches that lift, tilt, and swing you into a seamless blend of real sets and projected magic. You'll glide over the castle grounds, dive into a chaotic Quidditch match, and come face to face with creatures including the Hungarian Horntail and a swarm of Dementors, all brought to life through an impressive mix of motion simulation and practical effects. A great attraction, but be warned, known to cause quite a bit of motion sickness. As night settles over the village, Hogwarts becomes the stage for Hogwarts Always, a brief projection show that races through a school year at Hogwarts, all set to reorchestrated music from the movies. Tucked along Hogsmeade's winding main street, you'll find the famous Ollivander's Wand Shop. Inside, guests can experience the intimate wand-choosing ceremony, where a wand keeper selects one visitor to test a few wands, each attempt triggering playful magical mishaps. Just beyond the castle's shadow is the Flight of the Hippogriff Junior coaster. The queue winds past carved pumpkins and weathered stone walls surrounding Hagrid's hut. Once aboard, the coaster climbs a modest lift hill as Buckbeak bows nearby. At the crest, you enjoy an incredible vista of the castle and across the rooftops of Hogsmeade. From there, the train dips and swoops through a smooth series of breezy turns, gliding around the pumpkin patch and skimming the treetops with just enough speed to keep it lively, before completing the circuit back at the loading station after just over a minute. Toward the village, you'll find a small outdoor stage which hosts 2 live performances. First up is the Frog Choir, where a quartet of Hogwarts students, each accompanied by a croaking frog, deliver tight a cappella harmonies laid with deep amphibian bass notes. Alternating with this is the Tri-Wizard Spirit Rally, a more energetic display featuring visiting students from Beauxbatons and Durmstrang as they perform graceful ribbon routines and martial arts style staff demonstrations. Over towards the eastern archway entrance sits the park's other headliner, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure Coaster, a ride that regularly draws some of the longest lines, though now offering Express Pass. The queue opens in the forest outskirts on the edge of the Black Lake, venturing into Hagrid's creature training grounds, eventually coming to the stone ruins, where you'll queue past workshop spaces and magical artefacts. Once you finally reach the station, you'll climb onto either the motorbike or the enclosed sidecar. Moments later, the vehicle bursts forward, launching you into a high-speed run through the Forbidden Forest. The throaty rumble from the onboard audio mimics a real engine, adding weight and texture to every twist as you tear along the fortress trail. After passing by Hagrid's hut, you'll encounter Hagrid tending to his magical creatures, renowned for its 7 separate launches, the most on any coaster of its kind, and for holding the title of Florida's longest coaster. Midway through, your vehicle climbs a near vertical spike, hangs for a breathless moment, and then sends you racing backward at 44 miles per hour. From there, you plunge into a shadowy stretch of trees, before you're suddenly dropped into a cavern lit by the eerie glow of blast-ended scroots. Emerging from the cave, you'll line up for the ride's most powerful launch yet, catapulting from 0 to 50 in just 4 seconds. The journey wraps inside the crumbling castle ruins, where Hagrid offers a warm farewell as your adventure comes to an end. On the other side of the eastern entrance is Hogsmeade train station, home to the Hogwarts Express, which requires a park-to-park ticket as you'll be travelling to Universal Studios Florida. After winding through a short wooded stretch that buffers the station from the village, you'll head onto the open-air platform, and while Hogsmeade doesn't feature that famous platform 9 3/4, you do get the theatrical flourish of seeing the Scarlet engine glide in with its iconic whistle and plume of steam rolling across the platform. From there, the window scenes carry across the Scottish countryside before dissolving into the sprawl of central London, bringing you smoothly into King's Cross Station. Well, that's it for this tour. Thanks for watching. If you're planning a trip to Universal Orlando, do check out the other videos on the channel, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what's next.